I have grown up with stories of Mirpur now under the Mangla Dam waters. My sense of belonging is now a little pouch with soil and with pebbles. My father, before he died, he gave them to me. He said, "This is your heritage. This is your sense of belonging." And I hold on to it very dearly because I may not be able to go to Mirpur, but I am Mirpuri. I'm a Potwari, and I do belong to Kashmir like all of you do. Moving on, when I look at that photograph, or any photograph for that matter, any photographs that we see, we always envision ourselves, what was I like back then? How was the environment? How were the conditions? How did everything change? How was I before that? How have I become after that? So photos are collisions as well, because they help you reflect, they help you think, they help you introspect. Moving on, I grew up like all of us do. My father was in the Indian Foreign Services, he was posted to many countries, and with him, I tagged on to different countries, different experiences. I grew up, I did history, I did law. I was a criminal lawyer, I was a narcotics defense lawyer. I'm not very proud of it. I would have preferred to be a prosecutor because I feel that it kind of benefits, but when you start off, beggars can't be choosers. So I practiced in Delhi High Court. Now, before I became a criminal lawyer, I did dabble with corporate law. I loved theater, but I had to be practical. Life was all about choices, choosing expectations or choosing instinct. My instinct said art, theater, but reason came over and I said, I have to equip myself with the tools and then I can take on theater. And who knows, maybe acting in court is almost like theater. My lordship, my ladyship, and you're acting, you're acting in the real world. Aren't we all acting? Shakespeare said, all this world is a stage and every man and woman is an actor. And so are we, and so am I. I'll take you to this moment where my first case was in England, in London. It was an arbitration case. I was really bored. The arbitrator was so bored, he slept. So during the break, I just decided I'll go to the British Museum. And I went to the Gallery of the Pharaohs. I stood there posing with the pharaohs, smiling away. Little did I know that 7 years later, I'll become the first Egyptologist from India. Now, what is a first or a second or a third, but nevertheless, I did tell you that I'm the first. I am proud of it because it gives me a new perspective. It gives me a perspective of being an Indian and seeing the world from a very different way, coming back to my country and contributing to my own understanding of how I see the world. Collisions happen gently. Here at the British Museum, a gentle face-off with the pharaohs. I did not know I'll become an Egyptologist. But in life, there'll be many moments for you all where a fleeting, sense of understanding, a page, a flipping of a page, an entry into something where destiny wants to meet you, is calling out. But are you listening, right? The scene changes. I, of course, become this narcotics defense lawyer. I'm in court and I'm looking at all the black and white lawyer gowns and I'm saying, what the hell am I doing here? Is this who I am? And of course, then Egyptology happened, and that was also very instinctive. I took the GRE, the SOPs, the statement of purpose. I just had 10 days to finish it all. And I got into the University of California, Los Angeles. I had a vision that I am holding a lantern in a tent, and lo and behold, I was in the Fayum region of Egypt doing archaeology. So sometimes when you ask for something with a pure heart, the world conspires to get it to you. Yeah, and believe in that. And when you know you're ready, you are. Don't think too much. Listen to your heart. We have stopped listening to our hearts. I really urge each one of you, don't get into that mode of a 9-to-5 job. claim yourself, reclaim yourself, know who you are, and don't be scared to follow the path that you want to. Because if you truly believe in the work that you do and you love it, change, even though there is a collision, the change will be beautiful. It'll be a beautiful collision, okay? Moving on, I taught at UCLA. I went to Egypt for almost a decade. First, I was excavating mummies, and then, of course, I became a mummy. And my child is right there, sitting with his, phone. He might be recording me, or he might be playing a game. I asked him, "What are you going to be when you grow up?" And he says, "I'm going to be a gamer." I really don't understand that, but well, it's his path to follow, and time will tell what he really wants to be. After being with students, listening to them, growing with them, it was just so heartwarming. But parents' ill health kind of propelled me to come to India. I love the mountains. I belong to the Himalayas. My mother belongs to the state of Himachal Pradesh, and my father, of course, I told you, Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. I had to take care of them. I had to take care of my son, my husband, so many things for a woman to take care of. I had to balance my life out. I decided the Himalayas it'll be, and my calling, of course, it was cultural transmission, but I could go anywhere and practice what I really felt strongly about. I moved to Himachal. My father died, my mother was ailing, and I had to center myself. And I centered myself in a little village. A village, it's called Jonga, between Kullu and Manali. And in my mother's disease state, I started the Himalayan Institute of Cultural and Heritage Studies, a non-profit. I realized then, with the practice of it all, that grassroots level work really enriches me. And I did not want to be a professor anymore. I wanted to work at the grassroots level with the village and understand heritage is lived. It's experienced. It's not something that you aspire to aim for. It is an everyday experience. We are harbingers of change, and we have to make sure heritage lives on. It is a living thing. I want to tell you about an incident. I had a student, his name was Hunter. I became the hunted. He was an American student. He came, he could not walk properly. He came to do my anthropological field school. We started the first non-invasive archaeological and anthropological field schools in the Kullu Valley. And it was a wonderful experience being with the locals and understanding the different aspects of culture and heritage. Now, this student of mine, in one of my lectures in the beginning, I said, you know how you do anthropology? You bask in the sun and you get wet in the rain. That's how you do anthropology. Months later, he sent me a message. He said, "Professor, can you translate this in Hindi?" I said, "Yeah, I can." And I sent it to him in Hindi. Dhoop sekhna, barish mein bheegna. A week later, I got a photograph of his arm. He had tattooed that line. And for me, that was wonderful, because the seeds of something that he believed in, of being free-spirited, even though he faced the collision of something that people told him he would never walk, he would never be able to do anthropology, he yet did. For me, that was inspiring for me, yeah? So sometimes in life, you go through a lot of crises and trials and tribulations. If you choose things that are not of your liking, take them as tributaries. Take them as tributaries that propel you to the river where you'll find meaning and purpose. Divergence is not a failure. It's just a choice that's shaping you. Take everything that you choose as an addition in your life, not a subtraction. Yeah, that's what I've learned. Moving on with the Himalayan Institute, I started online talks, building a repository of Himalayan knowledge. All these talks are available online. We have about 259 talks. We've had practitioners from Kashmir also being a part of those talks, as far as Manipur as well, Lishikriya is here. So my vision is to bring Himalayas together. You may be in the northwest or the northeast, the Himalayas are one. And that has been my vision. Life moved on. I started, doing these projects, myth and reality, materiality and memory, bringing academics to the crossroads of where it mattered to people, putting them all together, doing online courses. My mother passed away, and I had a tryst with cancer. My cancer was not diagnosed by 3 doctors, 1 American and 2 Indian doctors. I do not blame them, but I do urge each one of you here, especially women, that if you feel there's a change in your body, you tell your doctors that, if I'm feeling it, you need to listen to me. I kept telling them, and they said, oh, you're imagining, you're hallucinating, maybe your mother is ill, you're imagining that you have cancer. Everything is not cancer. By the time I went back to the US, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. It was very difficult in the beginning. I looked in the mirror, I cried. I was like, why did this happen to me? I've lived a very good life. I have kehwa, I have green tea, I don't drink, I don't smoke. Why did cancer happen to me? Is it something that the climate has given to me? Lishpriya talked about that. Was it stress? I urge you all not to be stressed. Don't take life so seriously that you get stressed and you ask for disease to come your way. Maybe I was stressed because I saw my mother really, really ill. I loved her so much. She was the sun that I revolved around. And with her no more, I think, a mark was left on me and I got cancer. One day, and I had very long hair. I had hair till here, though my son debates. He says, Mama, no, you had shorter hair than that. But I was very proud of my crowning glory. That was my identity. I looked in the mirror. My hair was falling after my first chemo. I went through 16 chemos, 30 radiations, and 2 surgeries. My nails turned blue. I didn't have eyebrows. I looked in the mirror and I said, is this Sonali? Where is Sonali? And I said, you know what? I'll find Sonali. Not with war, not with anger, but with love. I started an Instagram handle to cancer with love. And with that love, I endured 2023 with my cancer treatment. And I feel very grateful that I had a very good environment. My husband was very supportive, so as well was my son. And I went through it with grace. And the day my radiation ended, within a week, I was in the Himalayas, looking at the mountains and being grateful that the mountains taught me how to become a mountain. Looking at them, finding resilience, learning patience. But as fate would have it, the next year, right when I was healing, my husband had a brain stroke. He is an attorney, he's Indian American. And when that happened, I was listless. I was so shocked. Here I was where, when I went through cancer and I looked at the mirror and I cut my hair. I said, it's all about conditioning. My beauty doesn't lie in my hair, it lies within. And I took a scissor and I cut my hair. And that was it. After that, I had no fear. I stopped fearing. And that is the first thing. When you go through a collision, a crisis, do not fear. Don't let it overtake you. Okay? Promise me that. Once you let it overtake you, you won't be able to navigate it. You either live in gloom or you bloom like the lotus that grows in the Dal Lake. Bloom like the lotus. Become that jewel in the lotus flower. They say, Om Mani Padmeham. Become that jewel in the lotus flower. Living in that mud, you can still shine and be beautiful. So coming from that, I said, okay, I endured cancer. Now I'll endure stroke. I will be my husband's support to stroke with love. My husband got paralyzed on the right. He lost his speech. Today marks exactly a year since he lost his speech. We lost our home in the US. I did not want fear of people doing wrong or all that negativity to come my way. I said, you know what? I'll write my narrative. Just like during cancer at 5 o'clock in the morning, I was ready with my bald head to teach about the Himalayas and spread the knowledge and to affect my team who were really looking up to me for everything. I said, I'm never going to stop working. Come cancer, come hail, come thunder. I will keep doing things with a purpose because I care. Until the time I care, I will be unstoppable. And I want all of you to be unstoppable. You know, here, a very dear friend of mine, Nazir, is here. Nazir, if you could say hi to everyone. Nazir just met me yesterday for the first time. He has been following me on Instagram for a long time. And I remember I used to talk about Kashmir a lot. And he sent me a beautiful firan, a purple firan. And I remember that moment, that through Instagram, which is a very powerful tool, you can touch people, you can touch lives, you can bring people together. Use it to bring us together. You know, Kashmir's story is a beautiful story. It has to go on. We are all in for it. Use your social media handles to bring us all together. The beauty of the Himalayas. Moving on, I decided to move to India. And I was so happy because India is healing. Even though the West can give you comfort, it can give you everything, it is missing its soul. The soul lies in India. I moved to a little village in the Himalayas. All of you are welcome. It's the village from where Himachal gets its name. It's called village Bigri from the word Badagri. And it's a forest with leopards. And that's where my institute is. I have a little clinic, free clinic for villagers there who come for physical therapy and all of that. My mother's nurse takes care of that. My team members are from villages. One is from Madhya Pradesh, one is from UP, the other is Himachali. They have their identity there. They are just not individuals. They are people who are transforming their own lives and the lives of their loved ones. Whenever we are given a task with a purpose that is beyond yourself, what do you need to do? You need to embrace everybody comes your way. That is your duty as a human. Stop not being humane. You have to be humane. You have to make sure that everybody who comes onto your path, you change their lives as well. Don't be self-centered. The I is ego. Let the ego go aside and embrace the world. And in now that I'm here, I was called for this TED Talk, and I was so delighted that it's in Kashmir. And here to tell you that, you know, what Priya was saying about climate change, that's a real problem. As a heritage practitioner who is very, very concerned about how heritage is managed, I think the first thing is climate change. Because what happens with the climate affects heritage, it affects livelihoods. I started the Gram Dharohar project. The Gram Dharohar project is a village heritage project where I bring together the villagers and I want them to look at trash from a very different perspective. Not with disgust, but with love. Now you would say, oh, what is Sonali talking about? Trash with love? Everything is with love. Even cancer is with love, because it grows within you. How's trash with love? Stop looking at it with disgust. I'm very impressed that the Dal Lake is very clean, but there are other areas which are not very clean. And it is our responsibility, it is our land. It is not up to the government to clean it or to somebody else. It is our responsibility to plant trees, right? We just heard that a little while ago. Looking at trash with what it can teach us. As a material scientist who looks, I'm an archaeologist, so from trash I get a lot of information. So I tell the villagers, look at trash and tell me how many Santra bottles or Royal Stag bottles are there. And then they count and they say, बहुत ज़्यादा है. I said, problem ना यही है, tourist नहीं ला रहा. आप खुद ही इसका सेवन कर रहे हो, आप पी रहे हो. You have to stop it. How many Bisleri bottles? 500 in 1 hour? Why? Who got it? Did the tourists get it? No, you provided it. You had it. So what I did was, I got lots of leaves, patal as they're called. I said, stop using disposable plates. Start using the pots, the little glasses made by potters. It will give employment to those people. They're also struggling. And these pottery pieces, they will become archaeological sherds of tomorrow, providing us with information. Tag these companies, Bisleri, Royal Stag, Mountain Dew litters a lot. they are gaining profits, tag them and tell them, you have gained profits from our places, what are you going to do and give us back? So education starts from there. It starts from self-reflection. You know, one finger points at you. So start bringing about change that way. I don't know how I am on time. The teleprompter doesn't have the time limit, but I'll go on a little bit long. So the Gram Dharohar project is a vision that I have, that every village in the Himalayas becomes a Gram Dharohar, where every person from that village speaks about their history, about their heritage, about cleanliness from their own mouth. And I will help them carve that, kind of shape them, so that they become stewards of culture, heritage, and climate change. The change comes from within. The world may be changing around you, but what you need to do is that even if the ground beneath you is moving, it's being taken away from you, you handle everything with love, care, and wisdom. Whatever trials and tribulations you may go through, every family has a problem. Every family is facing some problem, some crisis or the other. The idea is to have a purpose in life that is more than yourself. It is beyond yourself, because then truly you will be giving to the world and to yourself. Because the truest happiness happens when you give. And I hope everybody resonates with me, and all of you who come from different backgrounds, you take care of your heritage. When you speak of your ancestors' names, the ancient Egyptians say that one does not die, just like that. Death is not the end. Non-existence is the end. Honor your ancestors. Reclaim their lineage. Fulfill what was left unfulfilled. Going back to your roots is not retreating. It's about connecting with your roots, with your heritage, with your family, and fulfilling unfulfilled dreams and aspirations, and creating a world where each one of us, even through problems, really blossoms and creates a world, a new order, where everything is beautiful. And even in the face of ugliness, you shine and you rise. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you. And those of you who want to follow, please follow us on Instagram, TED Talks, and of course the Himalayan Institute. Bye.